I'm having deja vu. Now I'll do this. Really strong. Good morning. How is everyone this morning? Keep my hands off the table. If I pat my hands on the table, the whole thing rocks, you know, like the computer. Because I've got YouTube running through the computer and Facebook, I normally always do through my phone because it's the easiest thing for me to do. Hi, Julie. And Maya. And so I actually, you know, try to do two things at once here this morning, which is not so easy for me. I'm not very technical. I shouldn't be saying that, but I'm not. I forget how to do things. So I learned 1 minute and I forgot it the next. Yanni says it's lovely because every day is a new day for Susie. It's always an interesting world. Because sometimes we'll be driving along and I'll see something, like I'll see a spirit or something like that. And I go, oh my God, did you see that? And he goes, no. And he goes, oh, every day's a new day for Susie. It's hilarious. Not so hilarious when we've got to stay in a hotel. And I don't like it. And Yanni's paid for it and there's no refund. That's what happens to us sometimes. I desperately wanted to go to this place in Germany that was like a big camp, you know. It was full of sand and teepees and all of this, and it was under this massive dome, remember? And for years I was saying to him, I really want to go there, I really want to go there. So we went to visit our son in Berlin, and Yanni goes, I've made a special treat, I've booked us into this place. Seriously, we walked in there and I said, there's no way I can stay here. There was like thousands of people in an enclosed space, and I felt overwhelmed immediately. There's no friggin' way I could stay there. And not only that, they had these teepees, but in the teepees were no bathroom or toilet. You had to go to some public convenience. Oh no, that's not happening for me. So we didn't get a refund and he paid quite a bit of money for it, but we had to leave. I actually said, I was so desperate, I said to him, you can sleep here and I'll sleep in the car. I'm fine. There's no way I could have slept there. It's hilarious. So Yanni puts up with a lot. So when you see him, when you see Yanni in Ljubljana, I think give him a hug because he really needs it from living with me. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. So I'm sure some people think, oh, living with Susan would be a breeze. It's not. It's not. Not at all. Like most women. It's very funny. So good morning, good morning, good morning to everyone. I'm so happy that we're here together today on our 61st day. That we are gathering together to create this, because remember, the more that we do it, the more stronger this manifestation becomes in the ethers, the stronger it will come down into the physical. And we're seeing results of that. Now, one thing I really wanted to work on today, and I'm sure that all of you would agree, which has disturbed me greatly. Actually, last night I was very, very disturbed by this. And I had a hard time sleeping, so I was praying a lot last night. I was praying a lot, and I was asking God and all the holy hosts, and even this morning in my writing, because I write every morning, I journal and I do things like that. And this morning as I was writing, I was doing it again. What's disturbed me is what's happening with the kids. And it's totally freaked me out. Because I saw all these videos of schools, you know, welcoming back children. And in the classroom, they're all 2 meters away from each other. And in the playground, they've drawn these squares that kids by themselves have to sit in or run in or play in, but they're completely by themselves and they're all 2 meters apart. And it totally freaked me out, because when a child is really young, their brain is receiving everything as real, absolute, right? Remember all the senses. So they are being conditioned in a very short period of time. You can change children. I for a period of time in my life, I mean, I've specialized in a few different things when I was younger. And At one point, I specialised in working with children, but it was for about 2 years. So it wasn't a long period of time. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I did it because Gallum was young and I didn't want to go and work in a clinic. So I decided to bring people to me. And I thought, how can I do that? And then I had people around me that had problems with their parenting. So I thought, okay, I'll invite families, because I had a big house. I said, I'll invite families to come and live with me, not live with me, but stay with me for a few days, because a child, particularly a young child, can change their character and their behaviour in 3 days. That's how fast it is. It's 3 days. So, and I knew this from my studies, so I thought, oh, give that a go. Plus, I'd had this experience where I had this telepathy with kids, so there was a bonus in it. Particularly non-verbal children, I could actually hear what they were thinking. So I thought, this is a bonus, I may as well use it. And then I had these families come and stay with me, and within the space of 3 days, the child's behaviour would completely change, but we never said anything to the child about its behaviour or anything. All I did was work with the adults. I worked with the parents, and the beauty of it was that they had kids, I had a kid, they could play together, they could be together. No one was disturbed if, your child was crying or needed something or we were being interrupted. Nobody gave a shit. So it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So I did this for about 2 years, and I really learnt a lot about children and how they operate from that 2 years. And so when I see this, I'm freaked out, because I know that obviously not all schools are doing it, but a lot of schools are doing it because they want to teach children that human beings are the enemy, like that we have to be afraid of each other. And this is not good. And also, look at the auric system. It's 2 meters, the average auric system. So when you, about 1.5 meters. So when you separate people, you're not allowing their energy to even connect. Because when you feel really lonely and you go and you think, oh, just go to a cafe and have a cup of tea, and then you don't feel so lonely because you're surrounded by people, but your auric field is receiving all of this energy and interacting with people, so you don't feel lonely. And it's the same for kids. So what's going on with these kids is, to me, abuse. And then on top of that, so that was one thing that freaked me out. But the worst thing is all of this information's coming out about this new disease called Kawasaki Disease. And this Kawasaki Disease is happening with young children, and they're saying that it's inflammation and they don't know what it is. I'll tell you what it is. It's Wi-Fi. It's 5G. Wherever these kids are experiencing this, Wi-Fi has been activated. And I just want to explain that Wi-Fi is like putting your child in a microwave. Now, would you put your kid, would you put your hand, would you put your pet in a microwave when it's alive? You just wouldn't do it. And it freaked me out, because I'm watching all of these things, that people are sending to me about what's happening in the schools, what's happening with the kids, the level of radiation around these 5G towers and those street lamps. So you normally, when you have a Wi-Fi router, it measures at around 200, which is apparently safe. These measure 5,000, up to 5,000, between 4,000 and 5,000. That's a huge difference. So you wonder why. And kids, you see, the reason it's affecting kids first is because their bones are still soft when they're little, and obviously their brains are still growing and everything. So because their bone, their skull, is still soft, it's not hardened like ours is. That's why kids don't break their bones so easily when they're really young. But that softness creates, it's like it's as if the bone is porous because it's soft. It's not dense as we have as adults. So this really got me thinking, and I had a hard time sleeping last night, I don't mind telling you, because all I could think of was they're killing our kids, you know, they're destroying our children. And we went to the park yesterday, and there's like hundreds of kids in there, but they're not allowed to play on the swings or the playground. But they're allowed to be in the park, and they're all playing with each other. Thank God the parents aren't that strict. So they're all running around on their bikes and climbing trees and playing with each other and everything. So they're interacting, touching, you know, chasing each other and everything, but they're not allowed to go on the swing together. I mean, it's teaching them at a very young age to follow the rules, even if the rules are stupid, because they are stupid. It doesn't make sense. If you can run around and play with your toys right next to a swing, why can't you get on the swing? And all the kids are interacting, so, you know, it's really damaging, and I'm very concerned about it. I'm a little freaked out. So I thought today we could concentrate once again on our kids, the kids in our neighbourhood, the children on the planet, because the channeling it's all kind of appropriate, because the channeling that's coming out on Thursday has a lot to do with children. And you know, Yanni spoke to me about it, and I was a little freaked out and said, oh, maybe we shouldn't upload it, you know. But he said, no, it's okay. It's got a good ending and everything's fine. But maybe that triggered me, because often when I do channelings, I know in the beginning when I do a channeling, I actually hated doing it because it would trigger things in me. Even though I didn't know what Kassandra talked about with this person, no idea. I suppose if she spoke about some difficulty they were having in their life, then it would trigger mine, and then I would spend 2 or 3 days working through something. So when someone asked me, oh, can I have a channeling? I'd be like, oh, you know, I didn't want to do it because, one, I felt I was losing my identity, but two, the stuff that would come up for me afterwards felt like it wasn't worth it some days, you know. And because I was working as a therapist, and I felt a good one, and I was doing quite well, I thought, why would I go into, you know, it was a big internal struggle. So she spoke about kids a lot and why certain things are happening to children, why they're targeting children, etc., which will make a lot of sense when you listen to it. And so that must have triggered in me more attention towards what's happening. And of course I went to the park with Yanni because now it's open. I'm witnessing all these kids. Some of them had to wear masks, but you can see that their personalities are starting to change. You know, and as I said, it doesn't take long. So in the older kids, it takes a bit longer than 3 days. But if they're under, let's say 4, before they go to school, it's 3 days. Literally, you can change a child's behaviour in 3 days for the rest of their life. I want that to go in. 3 days for the rest of their life. So when you take a child back to school and they're all separated and they're 2 meters apart and they're told subliminally to be careful of other human beings and not, you know, we have trust in each other. We build up our intuition, our inner knowing through our interactions, both verbally but more physically. Our connection energetically with people helps us to define our intuition so that we have it when we're older. And these children are having this taken away from them. And this scares me because it's not right. And as a parent, if I had a young child at the moment, you know, I think I would be doing a lot to homeschool. I would be creating, and it's something Kassandra talked about years ago to people, to create these clusters so that maybe one parent gets paid by all the parents to homeschool a small group of children, 8 to 10 children, and that may actually work because the kids have people they can play with and interact with, and they're learning without being indoctrinated into something that isn't safe and that is taking them away from learning about what life is about, how their intuition works naturally. I mean, yeah, that's right. Just no, 10 to 8-year-old, it's going to take more than 3 days. It can take maybe, because particularly boys, I've got a son. Boys, anyone who's got a son understands, and particularly if you've got a son and a daughter, you'll kind of get that boys are a little slower than little girls. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but boys develop a little later. They're a little slower with even with being toilet trained, learning things. They're just a little slower on average. I mean, if it's the first child, they kind of learn faster as they go down because they've got the other kids around them helping them. But because also boys at that age from 8 to 10, well, really it's around 9, they start to disconnect from mum a little bit more, and they want to go more with the boys, more with the men, more identify as a male. So they're going to take a little bit longer and a little bit more, can I say, discipline. I'm not talking about hitting kids or anything like that, but they require, particularly boys, they require to get up at a certain time, eat at a certain time, do these things on certain days. They love routine because it gives them boundaries. And that's what little boys, obviously little girls do too, but boys in particular, they like those boundaries and they love routine, and it helps them. So if you get a boy in a routine and you keep repeating something at that age, I'd say to be 5 to 6 weeks. When you're dealing with a teenager, if it's already set in and they're a lot older, let's say 15 to 18, well, it's going to take longer than that, but it can still work. But they have to be motivated at that point. They have to be motivated. So you've got to look at your child's motivation. Like, for example, when Gallum was younger, it was food, right? I could, basically control him with food. I used to, like when he was really little, I would say to him, okay, once a week we're going out with one of your friends to wherever you want to go, but never McDonald's, because actually we didn't live in an area. The Blue Mountains never had a McDonald's or a fast food place, and the community made sure that didn't happen. So we didn't have fast food places, thank God. He didn't know what McDonald's was actually until we moved to Slovenia, unfortunately. Then he found out what Coca-Cola and McDonald's was, much to my horror. So before that, we would go to a cafe and he would choose the cafe and he would choose a friend that he could go to, and I would, let the two boys have a nice lunch or cake or whatever they wanted. And then as he got older, it was money. So it moved from food to money. So I would say, okay, we had 3 tiers of all of this. It wasn't complicated, but I taught him how to negotiate and things like that. So I knew he had to have some training around money and how to manifest. So that's what I was doing with him. And so the motivation was money. So, or, new phone, new whatever. But you cannot give it to them unless they've completed it. That's the whole thing. And parents become very weak because we want our children to love us and like us. Big mistake, because our children need a parent. They don't need a best friend. They've got plenty of those at school. So what I'm saying is that it takes longer, and you need to find out what their motivation is in order to instigate that. So that's what I'm going to say about that. So let's start our meditation for today. And I think what I'd like to focus on is maybe the education system. So the education system is choosing to be okay with this. And whether that's a childcare centre or a school, they're choosing to be okay with this when they know darn well it's not okay. Because most of those educators have had some learning in what it is to teach a child and why you teach a child things at certain ages. So they do have some understanding of the psyche of the child, the emotional maturity of a child at a certain point. So, you know, it would be good if we could send an awakening, if you like, to that system. So you're going to have to pick your system, whether depending on your child, whether it's in daycare, whether it's in little school or high school or something like that. You pick what one you want to focus on, but when we focus, you'll just choose your age group or whatever you want to. Yeah, there needs to be a new education system, 100%, Anna. I am completely devastated by what I've seen in the last 24 hours around kids. And even to the point where this school created videos for children to watch before they start school to know to stand 2 metres apart, how they enter the school. They're not allowed to greet each other. Are you kidding me? They're not allowed to greet each other. I mean, my head just exploded with pain, not anger, pain, because this is so wrong on so many levels. And like I said, I'm not a parent of a young child anymore, and I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful. But if I was at this time, there's no way I would let my child experience that. If I had to live in a friggin' cave, I would live in a cave. So yes, that's right, Anna. We're being tested as humans as to what we will put up with. If I had a young child, I'll probably ask the other parents, look, I know, I used to go to the schools and talk to the other parents. I remember when Galen was a teenager and I became the president of that school year's parents group. Horrified, I was horrified. They didn't give a shit about their kids. They wanted more homework. They were getting 3 hours homework every evening and these parents were asking for 5. And I was like sitting in there going, why? And they said, oh, they have to learn that when they go to work, this is, 13, 14-year-olds, that they're going to have to, really suffer and they're going to have to put in the hours and everything. I said, but the kids, they need to relax. And I'd say there needs to be more sport. There needs to be more this. Oh no, they don't need it. They don't. I after the first year, I said you can shove it because you're not listening to what I'm suggesting. Obviously, I suggested meditation for the stress and everything. I said you're just not listening. So I don't know why I'm here. So as a parent, I would certainly write a letter to the school about your concerns and maybe itemize them, what you're concerned about with your child in this whole separation bullshit that they're learning. And also I heard in Western Australia that the police have the right to go into the school, remove your child's clothing, including their underwear, and vaccinate them or perform any medical intervention that's needed. I'm horrified. I would not send my child to school. I just wouldn't. I know, I was a single mum. So how would I go about doing that? Exactly what I just said. I would gather a bunch of mothers together and say, okay, what are we going to do about this? And educate them in someone's home. I would find a solution. I am not willing to allow children to be treated like this. It's not on. Okay, we've got to go. Sorry, I am ranting. I definitely am because I'm heated up. So sorry. Okay, so you choose. Just follow. So let's just breathe. I need to let this go. Sorry. And activating our chi with our breath work. Let's start. Breathing in, hold and squeeze. And release. And again. Breathing in, hold and squeeze. And release. Last one. Breathing in, hold and relax. Relax your body, shoulders. And release. Good. Now just normal breathing in and out through your nose. Concentrating on the sound of the breath, the feeling of the breath as it enters and leaves your nose. You can imagine the mantra so on the in-breath, hum on the out-breath. I am all that I am. As your breath very gently enters and leaves your nose. Good. Now as you breathe in, taking your awareness, your breath, into your brain, your third eye, your pineal gland. And inside the pineal gland is a small body of water. So as you breathe in, you connect with the water. And as you breathe out, you create a ripple of light on the water that reverberates out into the room. So you're breathing in, you connect. As you breathe out, you activate that water. Good. Now I want you to take your breath, your awareness, your eyes down to your heart chakra. And as you breathe in, you connect with the heart chakra. And as you breathe out, you awaken the vortex of the heart, creating a ripple of light and love out into the room. So breathing in, connect, and as you breathe out, creating that ripple. And if you like to activate it a little further, as you breathe out, you can hum the sound of your heart. Good. Now you're going to take the vibration of your heart and move it down through your feet into Mother Earth to connect with the crystalline grids of Mother Earth. So breathing in, connect. And as you breathe out, imagine that you're sending that beautiful vibration down to your hips. Breathing in, connect. Now directing with your breath that beautiful vibration down to your feet. Breathing in, connect, and now sending your beautiful vibration down into the earth. And imagine that you're breathing in and out through your feet, taking your eyes, your intention, your awareness and your breath down to your feet now. Breathing in and out, creating a rhythm with Mother Earth. As she breathes in, you breathe in. As you breathe in, you draw in Mother Earth to you. As she breathes out, you breathe out. Gifting Mother Earth your love, your light, your truth, your peace into her grids. Breathing in and out through your feet, creating a rhythm of breath, a rhythm of life. And your feet may become like magnets on the earth. They may feel heavy, heat up, tingle, vibrate. as you breathe as one with Mother Earth now. And as you do, we call in the prime creators of Mother Earth. The divas, the fairies, the pixies, the gnomes, the Tudidanans, the leprechauns, the little ones. We call in the elements of earth, fire, air, water, ether. And we ask to work in harmony with you today to bring about this new earth. Just spend a moment gathering them around you and thanking them for all that you have. Good. Now I'd like you to take your awareness, your breath, your focus, and your eyes up to your crown chakra. You breathe in, you connect, and as you breathe out, imagine that you're activating your crown chakra in a spinning wheel. Like for women, your vortex will turn anti-clockwise. For men, it will turn clockwise. And understanding that out in the universe is a ball of golden light, and that is home for you. And that golden light may look like a vortex, a ball, a lake. It may be associated with a planet or an interdimensional reality, however it's home for you. And home is a place where you can re-energize, where you can heal as a soul, where you can receive information, and where you can become empowered. So you're going to send a ball of your light that will pop out of your crown chakra using your breath. You're going to send that ball of light and love home. So breathing in, connect with your vortex. And as you breathe out, imagine that a ball of light very gently pops out of your crown chakra. It's part of you. And as you breathe, you connect with that ball of light. And as you breathe out, you send it up further and further out into the room, through the roof of the building that you're in. Breathing, directing this ball of light up past the trees. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, sending it into the sky, past the clouds, into the outer atmosphere of Mother Earth. It's moving very fast now, up and out into the universe, and taking a moment to feel the vastness, unlimited power of this universe that you're in. And recognizing that all the planets, the galaxies, the stars, it's all in movement. They're all moving around each other, and that movement creates unlimited energy because it's constantly moving. And that energy is part of you. So as your ball of light sits out in the universe, I'd like you to just receive that energy, allow it to pass through you, to energize you, to connect with you. For you are part of this universe. You are part of your solar system and other solar systems. Good. Now allowing your ball of light to simply go home, to join with that golden vibration, that golden light. As you breathe in that golden light, you draw in all its energy, and as you breathe out, you share your energy with it. And as you do so, you may become aware of the environment that you're in, whether it's a planet or an interdimensional environment. You start to become aware of a circle of beings gathering around you. Your spiritual ancestors, your guides, and those that love you gather around you now. In sacred circle, as all the councils you're associated with gather around you, the white and the blue councils, the green and the brown councils, the red and the purple councils gather around you. The Palladian emissaries of light, the Melchizedek Brotherhood of Light, the Arcturians, the Intergalactic Council of Light that represents all nations. The Ancient Ones, the Lords of Karma, the Timekeepers, all gather around you in sacred circle. They surround you in a sacred circle. I want you to just spend a moment witnessing that circle, feeling that circle, because those beings have gathered together today to support you, to support your planet and your children. Now an opening is created in that circle, and enter all the hosts of holy angels, from cherubim to seraphim. These angels enter this sacred circle as an army. And they are here today under your command. Angels do not have free will. They are governed by God, and God's right hand is his light beings. And you work together with God, with the God force, to create great universes. And the left hand of God is the angelic realms, and the angelic realms work under your guidance. So they do not come under the universal laws of karma and other laws. So when you work with the angelic realms, there is no reciprocation. That's why they are known for their miracles. That's why people are unafraid of angelic realms. People feel comforted by them. They feel safe by them. They fully accept these realms, and yet these angelic beings are powerful. So I want you to just take a moment witnessing this army of angels that are there at your command. And there may be certain ones that you connect with. I'll give you 1 minute to communicate with them, to get to know them. Good. Now this army of angelic beings are waiting for your command. However, we're not finished yet. We're calling into this sacred circle, the cosmic police that guard and protect this universe. And an army of these cosmic police enter your sacred circle now. These police operate under the laws of karma and all universal laws. They cannot intervene in planet Earth unless beings from Earth ask them to. So you're going to direct these cosmic police to where they need to go and what they need to do. Today, we're not going to create our 5D reality. We're going to walk in the 3 and 4D reality, and we're going to command the angels to protect and guide our children and those that are in the position to protect and guide our children. So you're going to walk into your schools, your local schools, your local daycares, your local hospitals, wherever children are. And using that holy host of angels, you're going to ask those angels to stay in those places, to protect those children, to very gently, perhaps, guide those that are making these rules to think about those children and to do what's right. And then you're going to use your cosmic police. And you're going to ask the cosmic police to make karmic retribution to anyone for crimes against humanity or who are instigating harm towards children, whether it's through vaccines, whether it's through 5G, whether it's through sexual misconduct, whether it's through education that creates separation. You choose. You can use all of them or one of them. It's up to you. But before you do this, we must create a very strong protection around you to visually walk into these areas. Now remember, your angelic holy hosts are your left hand. Your cosmic police are your right hand. And you are guiding them. So I'm going to give you a minute to communicate with both of them, to understand what you're going to do, and to make the agreement of direction. And then we're going to use the golden light to put in a special protection around us so that we can walk in the world in areas that need help. So you'll have a minute, and time starts now. Good. So I just would like to explain to you how I would do this. So the angels are on my left. I walk into schools, doctor's office, clinic. I go into daycares, everywhere where there's children. And I ask the angels to very gently touch the adult that is facilitating this devastation. Whisper in their ear, you know this is wrong, don't do it. I'm asking the angels to touch their heart of truth and to choose love. I'm using the cosmic police on my right to go to the people who are creating these rules, these laws, this evil, and I'm asking them to create karmic balance, but also to warn those that it is against universal law to manipulate and control another's free will. So they must speak their truth, their end game. What this is all about will be revealed. So that's how I'm using these two sides. So now, when you bring down this golden light, all of those that are gathered around you are going to create a vortex of golden light that's going to surround your body completely. And their energy will be within that vortex, protecting you, leading you, and guiding you. And the holy host of angels and the cosmic police will come down independently as armies on your left and your right. And using that golden vortex, you're going to walk out into 3D and 4D and direct these two sides to what needs to be done. For you are the spokesperson and the voice for Earth, and they need your guidance. They need your permission to do their job. So Taking in a breath and connecting with that golden light and just looking at that beautiful circle around you of amazing beings of all nations, interdimensional, planetary, all around you with love. And they are creating with their hands a spiral of energy. And that spiral of energy is turning anti-clockwise. Why anti-clockwise? Because it creates a 0 point energy. So they're creating a spiral, a vortex of golden light that's turning anti-clockwise. And as it turns really, really fast, it starts to move down with you, with that part of you, that love and that light of you. It moves down through the universe very quickly, spinning around and around and around, creating a tube of light, of golden light. It comes down into the Earth's atmosphere now, down into the sky, through any clouds, past the trees, into the room that you're in, and moves down the outside of your body. So you are perfectly in the center of this golden vortex, spinning around anti-clockwise really, really fast. And it's going into the earth and it's staying activated around you, spinning really, really fast. And you are right in the center. Mother Earth is connected to you. All these beautiful beings are connected to you. On your left is your army of angels. On your right is your army of cosmic police. And you're going to go out into the world and direct these two armies to what needs to be done. You have 3 minutes and the time starts now. Good. Going into your heart center and breathing, activating the vortex of your heart within the golden vortex that surrounds you. And utilizing these two vortexes, the gold and the light, I want you to imagine that the 5D grids that we've been co-creating open up before you and spread wider and wider, further out, deeper across the planet. So what you're doing is you're squeezing, you're pushing away 3D and 4D out of existence. So rather than going into the grid, I want you to just fill the grid with light and make it so strong that it's just bursting at the sides. It's getting wider, deeper, longer, and it's pushing, squeezing 3D and 4D away. And you'll have 1 minute. So just breathe. Spread the light, the gold and the light. Spread it out into the 5D. Push it open. Push it open. Good, and I want you to remember the angels are on your left, the cosmic police are on your right. You direct them. For without your word, your direction, they can do nothing. So utilize these 2 sets of armies, get to know them. Taking your awareness down to your feet now, breathing in and out through your feet, connecting once again with Mother Earth. And today, your holy councils, your brothers and sisters, are thanking you for your devotion, for your dedication, for your courage, your strength and your energy. When you're ready, you can wiggle your toes, your fingers, gently flutter your eyelids and very gently come back into the room. understand today was a very big day, and I thank you for having the patience and the time to do this. I'm sorry that I talked a bit long at the beginning. I was very disturbed, but I feel better now knowing that these children have you and they have our collective energy to help them. So I thank you for that. And